You are onto a life-transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
The Dominion DNA. The Dominion DNA. And when we are done, let's trust God this will enter you. Lift up your hand. Say, Father, tonight, open my eyes to understand mysteries. Open my heart. I want to have insight into who I am and how I was originally created to function. Genesis chapter 1. There's a principle called the principle of first mention. That principle states that if you want to understand why a thing was created, or why a thing was made, or why a thing was invented, or you want to understand the original purpose of a thing, go back to the first place that thing was mentioned. Then you'll be able to get a clearer understanding of why that thing was made. For instance, for those of you who know about Jesus, the coming of Jesus was to salvage man, from sin and then restore him back to his dominion and all that. What Jesus came to do was not the first thing. Jesus came to do a remedy of the first thing. Hello? He didn't come to do the first thing. He came to do a remedy of the first thing. Because there was already a purpose and a plan for which God made man. It is that same original plan Jesus came to restore. Jesus did not come with another plan. He came with the same plan. The same plan that God had in mind for creating man was the plan Jesus came to execute. Man failed in that plan, so Jesus came to re-execute and show man how that plan should be executed. So anytime you want to understand how and why a thing was created, how God designed the earth to run, just go back to where the first principle was mentioned. Most of them are in Genesis. You will see the purpose of creation for the earth, the initial purpose of creation of man. Everything is in Genesis. If you look between Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you find the principles there. The principles of first mention. Like, what is the original plan of God for marriage? You find it in the principle of first mention. In Genesis. If you want to know what God created marriage for, it's in Genesis. It's not in Ephesians. Ephesians, like Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22, where the Bible started talking about man love your wife, woman submit. Those things are only re-echo of the first mention. Those things are just backup. They are just like statements giving light or granting weight to the principle of first mention. So, where did God first establish the original purpose of marriage? In Genesis. It is not good for man to be alone. I'll make him what? A helper suitable for him. So there you begin to find the purpose of marriage. Number one purpose of marriage is for companionship. The second purpose of marriage is for what? Help. That's what you call ministry. Ministry means meeting needs. So God created the woman so that the woman can help complement the man. Man was lonely. Man was alone. So there was need for companionship, and God put the principle for marriage in Genesis. That's the first place marriage was mentioned. That's the first place family was mentioned. So you want to know the original purpose of a thing, just go back to where the principle was first mentioned. Then you understand why that thing was mentioned. Okay, What is then the purpose for the creation of man? I want to show you something. If we need to get me to Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. That's going to be my opening scripture. Everything I'll do this evening will be kind of establishing the foundation for the teaching. On Sunday we would still revisit. I want to say it, and I want to say it to you. If you know this, nothing can beat you in life. You are the way you are because you don't. What Jesus came to reconstruct is the DNA God put in you. He didn't come to take you to heaven. If you want to check in the reasons for redemption, you find out heaven is not in the first list. Heaven is not the first. Actually, the first reason for redemption is to reconstruct the DNA of the fallen Adam. Am I talking to the right church? Is to reconstruct the DNA of the fallen Adam. Open your ears tonight too. That's why I asked you to pray for that revelational knowledge. So that once I start dishing out this thing, you won't just be looking at me as a lecturer. You would collect this thing and... Have you ever seen a lion giving birth to a goat before? Has it ever happened? I don't know if science have been able to find out how to affect the DNA of a thing. I think science can do that. Science can alter DNA. Maybe a lion taken to a lab, you affect the nature of the lion. You can transplant the DNA of a goat into a lion. Can science do that? No, science can do crazy things now. They can rewire the DNA of a lion and it can become a goat. So when you see the lion outside, it has the stature, the physical structure of a lion. But in behavior is a goat. Where did they affect the thing? It's in the DNA. There's another way you can also affect DNA, association. So you can take a lion now as a baby. Go and put him inside the company of goats. Let him grow there for the next 10 years. He will lose identity. He won't know it's a lion. When you see the thing, you think it's lion. That's why the Bible said the devil, he goeth about like a roaring lion, seeking for whom he may devour. He is not the lion, because the DNA of the lion is not in him. He tries to wear the physical structure of a lion, but the DNA is not there. When Lucifer fell, what was destroyed in him was the DNA of God. So the Lucifer you see on earth roaring about is trying to impersonate the lion. There's the lion of the tribe of Judah. So he tries to go like the lion. That's why he doesn't have the DNA of God. He can't produce what God produces. He can't produce love. He produces hate. He produces strife. He produces wickedness. He produces all kinds of tension and all that. Stress. He can't give what God gives. But sometimes you see he tries to appear like the angel of light. What fell, what was destroyed when Lucifer fell was DNA. Can I shock you? If you take this message I'm preaching to you now, this is one of the biggest messages you can preach. You take it and go and preach it to cultists without mentioning Jesus, you will win them. You take this message to prostitute because why you act the way you act is in your DNA. I don't know how many of you have attempted batting a pig before. Have you tried it? When you bat the pig, polish him, spray him perfume. If you like, put suit on him. Then put pampers. So when the pig wants to poo-poo, he just poo-poos on the pampers. Then go and change the diapers. If you like, do all that. You can't program the pig from outside. You can't program the pig from outside. So wash him, bath him, spray perfume. Just leave him and go your way. By the time you are back from work, the pig has gotten back to the swamp. He is going to bath himself with the kind of thing that the DNA is programmed to accept. The DNA inside the pig is what drives the pig. The DNA inside the pig is what motivates the pig. The DNA inside the pig is what makes the pig does everything it does. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It's not something that is outside. The goat acts the way it acts because goat is inside, not outside. The lion acts the way it acts because lion is inside, it's not outside. The eagle acts the way it acts because eagle is inside, not outside. Chicken is inside. So you see chicken has 2 wings. Eagle also has 2 wings. But what differentiates them is DNA. So what is the most important lesson you can learn in this thing we are doing here? I will show you today. If you get it, this is the primary thing Jesus came to restore. Because, okay. Then God said, that's Genesis 1 verse 26. Then God said, let us make man in what? Our image. According to what? Our likeness. Let them have dominion. Everybody say dominion. Everybody say dominion. Now see what God intends. God intends for man to have dominion. But man can't have dominion until he programs dominion into him. So, he said, then God said, let us make man in. And God is a God of dominion. God is a king. He resides in dominion. He resides in kingship. He resides in glory. You need to, those of you who don't understand worship, you need to know what happens when God comes into an atmosphere. God is so awesome that when His glory falls into a place, you can't stand it. I was talking to you about the Ark of the Covenant on Sunday. Is that correct? I showed you, when we were talking about reaping the harvest, I showed you that picture. I showed you how that the angels or the cherubs that carry that ark have 6 wings. The angels that have 2 wings in heaven, the ones that carry the ark of God actually have 6 wings. They have 2 for flying, 2 for worshipping, then 2 for covering their feet, for covering their face. You know why they cover their face? They can't look at God. The glory that radiates from the man, it can blindfold you. So the glory of God is thicker than sun. It's brighter than the rays of sun. Just the mere sighting of the glory of God, it has a melting point. It can melt even iron. This was something Moses climbed up to Mount Sinai and went and experienced for 40 days. Just interaction, verbal interaction. God appeared, though, not that he even saw the face of God. From a distance, this man was interacting with God. Now when God finished and he was going, Moses was begging God, God, can I see you a little? Just a little of you. I want to see you. So what has Moses been doing with God for 40 days on the mount? And 40 nights, it means they were talking from a distance. But even that distance conversation they were having, when Moses finished talking, the Bible says he came down to the feet of Mount Sinai, and people could not behold the guy. The glory on his life was so bright that people had to close their eyes, and they said to Moses, get back to where you're coming from. Everything that went to the feet of Mount Sinai became abominable. They had to kill it. If a goat gets to the feet of Mount Sinai, they have to get stone and kill the goat, because nobody contains the glory and survive. You cannot fight the glory. You can't stand against it. It has a crushing effect. The glory of God is God Himself. The glory of God is the aura of God. It's the beauty of God. It's the awesomeness of God. So anytime you think about God, don't think about Him as one guy who is confused. Maybe He wants to come to visit you in your house. He just comes with bathroom slippers. Don't think of Him like that. Maybe as one guy who, when he wants to come for a program or go for an occasion, he just goes to his wardrobe and picks rag and wear. Don't think of Him like that. He takes his time to prepare. He does not just come. He comes in entourage. He comes with legions of angels. He comes with legions of angels. When He invades an atmosphere, God came. It comes with legion of angels. They go with trumpets, blasting trumpets. He goes in his throne. He does not walk. The 4 cherubs actually carry him. Oh. My friend, can you put up that picture again, That picture of the throne with the 4, rings. That 4 rods. He carry him. We'll get back to this scripture. I'm trying to describe the man who made you. You see, there are 2 cherubs. You see that wing? Those are wings covering the mercy seat. God sits on that mercy seat. Look at those other 4 sides. Those things that look like handle. That's where they carried the man. So the man sit down there. Have you seen these Asian movies where monarchs are carried? Kings are carried on the shoulder. Traditional movies. You've seen them? Hello? Movies like Roots and the rest of all those Punta Kinte kind of movies. You see the way they carry their igwe or their king. They put on this shoulder, and they carry him like that. Then the man is elevated on top. That's the original way they carry kings those days. They actually copied it from heaven. That's how God is carried. God's leg does not touch the ground. He does not move. If it touches, it's earthquake. It does not. It doesn't come from that throne. He's constantly on that seat. Oh. Because any day God stands from that seat, mercy departs. Judgment is what faces. That's what comes up. Mercy moves. So he continually sits on that seat so mercy can keep speaking. Any day the man stands from that seat, the word is over. So God in his mercy have decided to sit down. So he sees the world in decay. He sees people doing battle for him. He sees people negotiating whether to give his life, give their life to Jesus or not. And something in him wants to erupt. He remembers the blood of Jesus that is sprinkled on those ark. And he sits down here. They offend him. They get him angry. He wants to stand up. If he stands up, the world comes to an end. That's why they say, he that keepeth Israel, he neither sleeps nor slumber. You don't sleep on the chair, you sleep on the bed. He doesn't stand from that chair. He does not. He does not. He sits down there. Why? Because of mercy. So sometimes it feels like standing. These guys have offended me. I'm going to wire them now. Before in the time of type and shadow, it was Moses who would go and beg. God, please, don't kill them. Forgive them, Lord. He will just repent. This time there's another high priest. God told him, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. He says, sit at my right hand. So Jesus is sitting at the right hand of God. God sits on that throne. And each time God wants to, Jesus will turn, Father, remember the blood. Remember the cross. Remember I did it for them. He will tamper justice with mercy. He tampers judgment with mercy. He tampers the throne of judgment with the throne of mercy. But any day he stands up, the mercy box disappears. And the judgment is where he now sits. Then he's not going to be sitting as the loving father. He was going to be sitting as a just father, as a just God. He's not going to be negotiating with you. He's going to be judging the world. That's the man who made you. And I want to show you that all the components God is made with is what he made you with. Psalm chapter 8, verse 4. What is man? No, pick it from verse 2 or 1. From verse 1. Thank you. O Lord our God, how excellent is your name in all the earth, who have set your glory above the heavens. These are angels singing to God. Praising God, thanking him, that's what they do in heaven. Verse 2. He said, out of the mouth of babes and nursing infants, you have ordained strength because of your enemies. So, you see, if you want to look at the purpose of the creation of man, you see, God created man because of Satan. Do you know Satan is included in your Dominion package? That what Jesus did on the cross is not just sickness, poverty, also Satan. Before Jesus came, the devil was placed under man. Man swindled man and collected his dominion. So Jesus came to take the devil and put him back in his original place. Man should be above, you should be beneath. He said, you have ordained strength because of your enemies. So you took nothing, call it a man, dust, molded dust, and you put strength in him because of his enemies. That you may silence the enemy, the avenger, the enemy. You see, he didn't say enemies here now. The enemy, that's Satan. The avenger, that's Satan. That you may silence the enemy. Let them shut up. Let him shut up. He was in heaven with God. He was the beauty of heaven. The music of heaven was in him. You don't need to play any instrument in heaven. Once Lucifer opens his mouth to sing, all the instruments start playing. As he opens his mouth, can you see drums, keyboard, trumpet, saxophone, everything starts playing. Where are the players? They are all inside him. A guy doesn't do rehearsals. He is rehearsals himself. But the thing got to his head one day. I'm going to be like the star, the one who rules in this place. I will raise my kingdom above the kingdom of God. I'll become like I. When God perceived what was in his heart, he cast him down. And you know, fathers don't fight sons. Any son who fights his father loses his life. Fathers don't do that. You know how fathers fight son? They raise something that maybe used to be beneath them. Go and raise something. That's why in this house, I'm raising men. I'm doing it continue. Raising. So any day anyone becomes a Judas, the one that will judge him is inside already. Yes, no. That's what God did. So you see, he raised Adam, man, and put his life in him so that he can silence the enemy. Shut up. You are not anybody. I made you, I raised you, I trained you. You want to be a fool? Let this guy show you how to be foolish. The next verse, verse 3. I don't have all the time, I'm closing. He said, when I consider your heavens. These are angels talking again. The work of your fingers. You see, when I look at all the things you have done, the heavens, the works of your fingers, the whole galaxy, the whole earth, plantations, the trees, the animals. I look at these awesome things you have done. I'm amazed at your wisdom, Lord. I'm amazed at your intelligence, Lord. I'm amazed at your creative prowess. But there's one that beats my imagination. I can't understand it. Of all these things you have done, I am wondering, I'm in wonder of what is this thing called man. Is it the moon and the stars which you have made? Okay, go down. Verse 4. Quickly. He said, what is man? That you are mindful. Mindful. What occupies God's mind is man. Mindful. So his mind is full of man. Hey, am I talking to the right church? His mind is occupied. Every time he's thinking man. Every time he's thinking man. And angels are disturbed about it. God, don't you have another thing to think about? What is man? That your mind is full of him. And the Son of Man, that you visit him. You visit him. You leave all of us in heaven here. You will go down to the cool of the evening and go and meet with Adam. And tell all of us to wait at the gate of the garden. No, God was not going in with the angels. Oh. They will just come down to the garden. God will say, okay, all of you just wait outside. I don't want you guys inside here. I want to talk with man. So God enters alone. A man sees God. And like, oh, Father, you are here. Yes, I'm here, son. He said, I came so we can just chat. I came so we can just have dinner together. What did you cook today? Where's your wife? He says, sweetheart, God is here. Really? He came quickly today. And he would just come. Oh, daddy. And God will stand up and give her two sides. That was what was happening in the garden. You think when they see God, they're like, oh, Holy One of Israel, the Lord God Almighty, we bow before you. No, they were running to hug him. Because God put a man, the insulator, that could help man harness his glory. We are gods on earth. Lift up your hand and say it. I'm a God. I'm the Son of the Most High. My place is the place of dominion. My place is the place of rulership. My place is the place of kingship. If you know what you're talking about, let me hear you say a big amen. This is God, oh. You see, what is this man that you are mindful of him? So, I want to take you back to how you were made. Because some of you have not yet gotten that concept. This is what God came to restore through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. The first thing he came to do was to restore back that thing the devil took. Genesis chapter 1, let's get there again. Verse 26. On Sunday it's going to be explosive here. So you better go and cast your net and let's pull. There are ways I cannot act again because I know who I am. I am Christ. I am God in the form of man. No, it's not pride, it's truth. There's a difference between pride and truth. It's not boasting, it's truth. It's in the Bible, I can prove it. Any truth you can't prove is pride. Any truth you can't prove is boasting. Anything I say I am, I will show you in the Bible. He said, I am a God. I am the Son of the Most High. Not one of the Most High. The Most High. There's one Most High. So it's not the crazy Jay-Z Most High we're talking about. It's not the Jehovah. I'm talking about Jehovah. And this is what happened in Genesis. He said, then God said, let us make man. Let us make man. So he was talking to the Trinity now. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. He said, let us make man. In our, not in any other thing. We don't want to copy angels. We don't want them to look like the angels. We don't want them to look like the animals. He said, in our image. Not the image of the gorilla. So don't mind Charles Darwin. He's a confused human being. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Not in the image of monkeys. The guy is sick. He would have asked himself, who gave birth to him? The guy taught you lies. He didn't tell you his biography. He would have told you his biography. My mom is a gorilla. My father is a senior lion in the jungle. And he gave birth to me, you know, and that's what I'm teaching. What I'm teaching, we evolved from Homo sapiens, then we moved to Homo erectus, and moved to Homo confusion, and all of all that. Homo ignorance, Homo idiot, and all that. And they carried and put the educational curriculum, and they fool people. And one guy wakes up one day and said, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. Are you not a fool? I didn't insult you. The Bible already insulted you. The fool said in his heart, there's no God. That's the scripture. And that's why when that guy died, when Charles Darwin was on his sickbed dying, he was crying. He was regretting. Do you know what his wish was? His dying wish. Can I be allowed one more chance to tell the world the truth? That was his death wish. Oh. He didn't have any chance to remedy it. He died and went to hell. Think he's in heaven. Not in the image of gorilla. So those guys who are telling you can sleep with animals, I don't know whose image you're made with. In America, that's the nonsense going on. I was talking to some guys who are boasting with a gay thing. I told them God didn't make Adam and Steve. He made Adam and Eve. I told the ladies he didn't make Ada and Eve. He made Adam and Eve. Not Ada and Eve. Not Adam and Steve. Why are you trying to take the laws of God and turn it upside down? And there are some who have reduced themselves to animals. It's now goat and chicken. Yes, people are even getting married to their cows. They are getting married to their pets. In America, it's happening, you know. Just see someone wake up in the morning, he goes to his dog. Sweet, how are you? Have you fixed me breakfast? And he kisses the sweet. Do everything with the... It's not mental aberration, degradation. It's Satan that is doing that stuff. He just went and distorted image. Do you know that gay problem is image problem? Prostitution problem, image problem. I will show you the 7 things image mean. So God looked within himself and he saw two softwares that makes him God. He said, I don't want to produce man with half. I'll produce with all the package. So God became the prototype for man's production. God copied himself to make man. Man is actually God's photocopy. So he said, I want this thing to have the same life we have. I want this thing to have the same glory we have. I want this thing we're making to have the same force we have. The same thing that makes us God here. I want it to make them God on earth. He said, how do we do that? In our image. Everybody say image. Then in our likeness. I won't talk about likeness today. Let me just scratch image a little. Just a fragment. Let me just scratch. Let me just scratch. The reason God made man in his image is because image is where the seat of God is. Image is where the... Okay, hey, let me show you 7 things image is. Number 1. Image means identity. That means this is where you find who a person really is. Who is this person? This person is man, made in the image of God. You must discover that. Identity. This person is a God. Who is God? God is God. Who are you? You are God. Identity. That's where the knowledge of who you are comes in. That's where the knowledge of your purpose comes in. That's where the knowledge of your assignment in life comes in. That's where the knowledge of your essence comes in. Abuse is inevitable without purpose. People abuse themselves because they don't have the right concept of who they are. Identity. It's about self-discovery. You can't be known if you don't know yourself. You can't be discovered if you don't discover yourself. There are people who were born, they died wretched, died nobodies. Not because the forces in their village are stronger than them, but because they have no clue about who they are. Identity. Identity is why you treat yourself the way you are. If you feel you are an idiot, you treat yourself like an idiot. Do you know God so elevated man to his level that God put in him this software, and that thing naturally put him in charge of everything else? Look at some of you, when you see dogs now, you start running. You see lion now, you will take off. You see, these are things man could go and slap and they will say, thank you, sir. Do you know that man named all the creatures? Everything you see on earth, man names them. God did not name one. The only thing God named was man. Man named everything else. Lion was not called lion by God. Man named lion. It was not a struggle for man because the vital force was already in him. He carried the DNA. So, you know that thing the Bible says there's a spirit in man. And the inspiration of the Almighty giveth him understanding. That means man didn't need to consult the dictionaries. The force was in him. So he just sees the same thing that made God create the whole world and saw a world that was good was in man. So man could also partake in the creative thing. So he says lion. Just study the components and study the characteristics of a lion. He does not call the lion goat. No mistake. Lion. The name just fits it. Don't you see all these things he mentioned, all their names fit in with the stuff. Imagine calling fish cow. But can't you see fish? It fits. Goat, check the behavior. I was driving one day and a goat was hurrying past the road. I didn't know, when I said, get out, you this goat. He said, look at this goat. I said, actually it's a goat. Hello? You see, goat behaves like goat. You see, idiot. Idiot an animal. You see, cow. Atoro. Behaves like what man named it. That's why there's power in name. Oh. Identity is your name. It's who you are. The question I want to ask you is, what kind of force was making man live? Do you know man named all the deep sea creatures? Everything that lives in the ocean was named by man. Or you think man was on land naming them? Do you know the depth of ocean? Do you know the depth of sea? Where does a shark live? In a river? Where does a whale live? In a river? Go and watch Natural Geo Channel. you have a glimpse of what an ocean or a sea looks like. I say, man had the life of God in him, and there was nothing like a need for oxygen to pad himself and enter the water. Man could just walk into the water, play with those animals, and come out. So he could breathe naturally inside water. Naturally. He enters the water without just the same way he walks on land. He's walking inside water like that. He will just, hey, come, have I named you? No. It's okay. You are catfish. He would go, he say, come here. Open your teeth, let me see. Open it wide. He said, open it. I want to enter inside. I know what is happening there. He will enter inside the shark's belly. Just go and experiment. He said, okay. And they open it, I want to come out. He open it, he will come out. He say, you are shark. You finish. Where's that brother looks like you? The other senior one. He say, he's playing around. He say, come and take me to where he is. He will take him to where he is. He say, Oga, I don't need to enter. I've already entered this one. You are whale. He will go and say, what's that small thing there? Fingerling. You are fingerlings. You look like my fingers. Fingerlings. He said, where is that one? You are tilapia. And as he was saying, thank you, sir. He said, okay, I'll continue tomorrow. You guys should feed well. If there's anything you need, just let me know. Bye. And he would just walk, invisible staircase out of the water. See who you are. See who you are. I'm not saying see who you were, because we are there now. That's what Jesus came to bring back. Are you hearing what I'm saying? We are there. Then he named all the creatures. He had dominion. These things made Satan angry, because the devil couldn't do it. He already lost it long time ago. How can dust be doing this? How can God bypass me and come and talk with Satan? You see why the effort of every rebel is to make you fall like them. Because when a rebel loses authority, he hates to see another in authority. He wants you to fall with him. That's why the devil didn't fall alone. He fell with 2/3 of the angels of heaven. He doesn't want to fall alone. He will try to ensure, who can I get to fall so we can be co-Satans. In our image. Image means identity. Is who you are. Who you are. Image also means character. It means behavior. It means traits. It means value. So the way a person behaves is in the image of that person. That's where your trait is. They say you are a melancholy. My friend, I don't know. God didn't call us melancholies. He made us in his image and likeness. That means the way God is the way I am. I don't know where you get some of those your crazy concepts from. They say you are an introvert. So you allow introversion to keep you where you are. I don't know how to talk to people. I'm just me. I don't know how to relate. Meanwhile, God relates. I don't know how to flow with people. I'm just me, myself. It's me, I am myself. Meanwhile, God is in people business. Go and ask God to rewire that DNA. See behavior. Your traits. Your values. If you look at the image of God, you see loads of value. And the values of God is who God is. Number one, love is a value. The Bible says we know that we have passed from death to life because we do what? Love the brethren, not because we speak in tongues. How does God check that you are now a Christian? It's in your love life. Nothing else. It's not in your tongue. There is gift of the Spirit, but the gift of the Spirit is not the same as the fruit of the Spirit. Hello? 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 So don't be confused that because you speak in tongues, you think you have God's image. You may not have. You see compassion, kindness, mercy. When Jesus was teaching on the mount, the Beatitude, what was he x-raying? He was x-raying the image of God. Blessed are they, merciful, for they shall obtain. That's image. Do you know when Moses finished communing with God on the mount and Moses was living and God was living? God told Moses, you want to see my glory? Okay, I will show you my glory as I go. You will see my back. Anything you see is my glory. God has 3 levels of glory. There is the outer glory of God, and there is the intrinsic glory of God. That's what you call the dogger of God. The weight of God. The intrinsic glory of God is the character trait of God. So when God passed before Moses, you see where he was mentioning, I am the Lord, gracious, so merciful, forgiving, this, that. There were things he was mentioning that characterizes the personality of God. So what Moses actually was seeing when God was passing away was the character trait of God, was the glory of God, was the value systems of God. That's what God was seeing. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? Okay. I've talked about identity. I've talked about the character and the values of God. What is the next one? Image means personality. It means personality. Your quality. You say this man is a personality. A VIP. You see, God can't carry himself anyhow. God can't be running around with his bathroom slippers everywhere. He has a personality. That thing that makes him God is his personality. That thing that makes the world tremble before him is his personality. That thing that makes him command respect from men is his personality. That thing that makes people reference him is his personality. That's the aura of God. You know, there are people who when they walk into a place, they just walk in confused. Nobody takes notes. There are others when they walk in, all eyes. Everybody's wowed. Who is this man? Hello? Hello? The personality. Have you heard about very important person? That's the personality. There are people with class. So image is also personality. I'm showing you how God made you. Personality. It's also charisma. Your charisma. What you call charm or courage. Your charisma. What you will call your packaging. Your charm. It's just like when we are in service and we are worshiping and God's glory comes into the atmosphere. Everybody starts crying. People just feel that sweet breeze of his presence. That's the charm of God that came into the service. The personality of God. He's more than a person. He's a personality. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? He's a personality. He has a reputation. He's not just one of the guys that exist. He's singled out from the crowd. He has a packaging. Jesus had a personality. It is that personality that made people troop around him. That personality made people struggle for his clothes when they were killing him. It was that personality Jesus had that made people drop their clothes and palm trees, palm fronts, palm leaves on the ground just to receive the man. Did you know here is called triumphant entry? Hello? Victorious entry. That's personality. You don't drop your clothes and your whatever, your jewelries for people who are nobodies. If the governor visits your house now, what would you give to him? Would you go and bring rubber plate and rubber cup and serve him? You go and look for the finest whatever. You go and look for the finest plate. You look for the finest dish. You don't just go and give him a dirty seat to see. You clean it well. You want to make sure your environment is neat. So that when the man comes in, he has a comfortable place to be received. If it's just your casual friend who is coming to see you, you don't care. Is that right? You can just receive him anyhow. Oh boy, how far? Sit down anywhere you see the road. Sit down. But if it is somebody who is important, I see that happens to me a lot. I step into a place. Maybe I go to shave my hair. The moment I just enter, It's everybody standing up. Pastor, please sit. Pastor, Daddy, please sit. That thing is called personality. That thing that can make somebody stand up in an airport. Stand up to give you his seat in the plane. Maybe you enter, you don't like where you are sitting. No, that's how I know you. Sir, please, can you take if you like here? That is personality. That thing that can make somebody run to you with his book and say, please, sir, can I get your autograph? Can you sign an autograph for me? It's personality. Miles Moron had it. Miles Moron has such an awesome personality to a point where his complimentary card can give you a visa. You just have Miles Moron's complimentary card, go to embassy and show them the card. They will give you a visa. It's personality. There's nothing that is satanic about it. Church people, don't be deceived. People think being a Christian is being a mediocre. You think Christianity is mediocrity. You can choose to dress the way you want, talk the way you want. You think the keke life is your life. You think the Okada life is your life. You don't know you are from a royal family. Didn't you hear it in the Bible? That you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. You are called forth to show the praises of your Father, who called you out of darkness and brought you into his marvelous light. That's who you are. You come from a kingdom. Do you see how they dress royal people? Do you see how royal people talk? Do you see how they walk? Every day you wake up, begin to say to yourself, I'm a personality. I have charisma. The charisma of God is in me. I'm not a nobody. I talk like a king. I walk like a king. I dress like a king. I reason like a king. I know who I am in Christ. I'm not a failure. I'm a victor. I'm not a vanquish. Kings are coming to my uprising. I don't see the governor and I'm jilting. I don't meet the president and I'm shaking. Hey, His Excellency. No, I meet him like a personality. I stretch my hands. God bless you, Your Excellency. How are you doing today? It's not an age thing. It's a DNA thing. It repositions how you walk. It turns your waka into walking steps. Don't waka, you walk. You become conscious of what you even wear. You become conscious of where you go to. You can't be a personality and be going anyhow, walking anyhow, talking anyhow, appearing everywhere. Personalities don't eat while they walk on the road. You carry puff and agege bread in one hand, and you have soya milk in one hand. You're walking on your street with your boxers and your singlet. He's like, hey, cheesy, how far? I go show your house. Don't worry, I go show your end tomorrow. On the road, you have just told everybody on your street, I'm a bunch of cabbage. I'm a bunch of dustbin. Anything you want to dump, come and dump it here. When insecurity meets a confident man, they call it pride. Yes, that's what it is. Insecurity. People who are insecurity meets confidence, they call it pride. There's nothing being proud about it. That was what Joseph had. He had that personality thing. So he was talking like it. Say, all of you will bow down and worship me. Do you know the thing was so contagious that his father bought him a... So this was not the way they came to give them. Where are you going to? I want to go and watch Chelsea and Man U. Say, come back here. Say, report back. Today you are not going in. You will go back to this house. Who you be, safe. It was insecurity that made the brother sold him. Insecurity. Don't let people's insecurity dampen who you are. The more they criticize you, the more you should upgrade. Hey, are you hearing what I'm saying? There are cars you should not attempt buying with your money. Don't try it. There are things you should not attempt wearing. Don't buy a car that smokes. There's this one they are buying for me now, a Mercedes-Formatic Jeep. I was looking at it on the internet the other day. I was just checking. Everything is automated. The boot is remote control. The AC can knock you under the power of God. People should go and deliver that stuff quickly. I saw it. I like it. It's not just making pleasure and receiving anointing oil. Go and get it. I give you guys 1 week. Close your whatever. It's good life. There are cars you carry and go to places to preach the gospel is easy. You carry the one that will stop you on the midway. You come out, open your bonnet. Like, bro, please wait. I want to preach to you. Let me. No, there are cars you drive. You can preach from the wheels. You just park, wind down. Say, bro, come. The first thing is give handshake. Let him feel the cold that comes out from your hand. He said, I want to talk to you about Jesus. The guy will look at you and say, please, before I saw you, I have been needing him. Can you prescribe him fast to me? I said, no, calm down. I'm not in a hurry to preach. I will take it bit by bit. Can I give an appointment tomorrow? Give him 9 o'clock. He will come 6 o'clock. The life of Jesus is express. It's an express life. It's a life you express. It's not a life you just talk. It's an express life. There are some things you don't have in this life. You cannot break this gospel to territories. That's why I teach the church that it is God's will for you to prosper and be in good health as your soul prospers. Because God knows that is one of the ways you can compel sinners to His kingdom. When sinners see the goodness of God over your life, they want to know your God. When they see that your God cannot give you money, they see your God cannot give you clothes, they see your God cannot bless you, why do they want to believe in Him? That's why you must change your thought pattern. Can I close? The next thing about image. Your image is your picture. It's your picture. It means picture. That's your world view. It's your perception. Your pictures. What pictures do you hold in your mind? Pictures of defeat. Pictures of a nobody. Pictures of a failure. Pictures of your past. Pictures of your mistakes. Pictures of your background. Your picture is the image of your future. Anything you picture in your mind, you will give birth in your tomorrow. True. Anything that succeeds at entering your mind will succeed at coming out in your tomorrow. Anything that impregnates your mind will be born in your tomorrow. The mind is a big investment. The mind is a big asset. You don't waste it. What enters in there? That's why you see everything the devil is trying to get done in your life, he is doing it within the corridor of your image. I talked to you about the second DNA on Sunday. He is doing it within the corridor of your image. If he wants to destroy your destiny, if he wants to destroy your future, he gets it done in the corridor of your image, your pictures. Look at God could not bless Adam or could not bless Abraham until he got Abraham to see right. You can't receive until you see right. You can't see right and receive wrong. Picture is like pregnancy. You know what they call ultrasound? It's like pregnancy. When a woman takes in, you go and scan and check what is inside. Is he a fibroid or a fine boy or whatever? You go and check. Check the position. Check. You become expectant of what you have seen. That's pregnancy. The devil can get you pregnant, my friend. God can also get you pregnant. I get pregnant by God every day. Every day. There's some pregnancy he puts in me. It takes 1 month to bring it to pass. There's some he puts in me. It takes 9 months to come. There's some he puts in me. It can take the next 30 years to come. It's pregnancy. The devil can also impregnate your mind. Some of you have given the devil the opportunity to copulate your mind. To have some intercourse with your mind. He puts his own sperm inside. Puts his own ideas inside. And you give birth to satanic thoughts and satanic ideas. Who gave Eve the idea that made her fall? Who gave Adam the idea that made him fall? Was it God? No, the devil. But God already impregnated that mind. Do you know, like a baby in a womb, your pregnancy, your mind can be aborted? Hello, is somebody hearing what I'm saying? So the devil comes and carries syringe, carries needle, and puts one Puritan or whatever inside, and go and puts it in the pregnancy, and removes what was already forming. Removes the baby God planted in the mind of God, and introduces his own. The woman pondered on it, and the thing took flesh inside, and she brought forth condemnation, brought forth defeat. Anything that impregnates your mind will show forth in your tomorrow. Be careful what you think about. Be careful what you are seeing. Be careful how you see yourself. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Be careful what you think about you. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Where do you think you come from? Some of you look at your background too much. In this house, nobody succeeds. I came from a family where nothing is working. I come from a family of the least. Like Gideon. Gideon, thou mighty man of valor. He said, yes. Who is that? He said, it's God. He said, it's like you don't know me. I come from the least clan. I come from the least kindred. I come from the least community. There's nothing about me you can talk about that is impressive. Oh. So if you're looking for a man to use, you've come to the wrong man. I am nobody, my friend. My father was a palm wine tapper. Don't even talk to me about ministry. Don't talk to me about taking nations. Don't talk to me about invading cities and territories. Don't talk to me about even governorship. Don't even dare it. There's nothing royal in our family. Our families don't give birth to the Igwes. It's only this family that produces the Igwe. There's nothing about our family to talk about. And God said, my friend, you are carrying a defeated image. You're carrying the wrong pictures. Let me try to construct it before I use you. That's why God can't use a man until he gets him pregnant with the right thoughts. The first thing God will reconstruct is your image, your picture. If he's going to use you, he's going to change the way you think. So he said to him, my friend, you are a mighty man of valor. You are going to defeat the Midianites. Oh. You're going to raise men. There's going to be a mighty army that will rise from among you. And you're going to go with this army to defeat the Midianites and reclaim lost territories. Another time it was Jeremiah. He said, my friend, you are a great man. You are a warrior. You are a leader. He said, hey, God, you can't use me. I'm just a youth. I don't know anything. I don't even know how to talk. I don't know English. The first thing God will do is to abort that wrong picture and give you his own pictures. Are you hearing what I'm saying? He comes to Elizabeth and says, you're going to bring a child. And Zechariah starts laughing. He said, it's not going to even happen. If you like, pray from now to tomorrow. God heard him talking. He put his mouth on silence. He makes him go dumb. Because with your mouth, you can abort the future God is trying to put in your pictures. He said, don't talk again because you can destroy this image. Keep quiet, you will see it. After you see it, you will now talk. See, nobody can help you until they help the way you think. Oh. Nobody can change you until they change your thought pattern. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as much as he has in his pocket. It's as he thinks in his heart. What do you think about you? For some of you, need to ignore that background. Ignore that failure in your yesterday. And press forward towards the mark of the prize of the high calling in Christ. Press forward. Press forward to greatness. Press forward to a greater tomorrow. Press forward to greater opportunities. Don't be limited. Not by family background. If your father couldn't make it to great heights, it can mean that you won't rest until you make it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Get the right concept about you. If you were born in a family, maybe they gave birth to you with molded spoon or with a sand spoon or whatever. Refuse to die until you put one silver or golden spoon in your mouth. They sell golden spoon in the market. If you're not born with one, go and buy one. It's the same spoon. Hello? Yes, some were born, they discovered that there was gold spoon in their mouth. Others were born, they discovered it was rubber spoon. When you get of age, go and buy one gold spoon and put it in your mouth. Each spoon is the same spoon. I want to help you this season, because nothing will happen in your life until it happens in your mind. Nothing. Anything the devil succeeds has put it in your mind, he has put it in your life. Can I say it again? Anything the devil succeeds has put it in your mind, he has put it in your life. Anything God can succeed has put it in your mind, he has put it in your life. If he can put Isaac in the mind of Abraham, he will bring it to pass. If he can put Jesus in the mind of Joseph and Mary, he will bring it to pass. Don't ask me how it's going to happen. Just believe it in your mind. If he can put John in the mind of Zachariah, in the mind of Elizabeth, he will bring it to pass. So you see that one of the things about your image is your picture. I'm trying to end now. The next thing is that your image is your nature. Is your nature. Is your nature. Is your nature. God gave birth to you naturally with it. You don't struggle to become it. You are it. All you need is rediscover it. And you start living it naturally. Lion doesn't struggle to be a lion. Please, I don't know who taught the goat that the food they eat is grass. Who taught him? You give birth to the goat. The first day he starts walking. After a while, he starts eating grass, with or without the mother. Who taught it? Who taught the fish when it was born that his habitat is the waters? Who taught them? Who taught the bird when it was born that the habitat, the nature of the bird is to fly? Who taught it? Is inborn. Somebody say inborn. Your DNA is in you. Your image is in you. Who you are is in you. Your image means your nature. Your nature is the nature of success. Your nature is the nature of dominion. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Your nature is the nature of kingship. It's not the nature of poverty. So when you see poverty in your family, you know this is Satan's handwork. This is not God. In our kingdom, we are not like this. Your nature is the nature of above only and not beneath. Your nature is the nature of seated in heavenly places with Christ, far above principalities and power. Your nature is the nature of someone in dominion. That's your nature. So stop thinking of the wrong things. Your nature is the nature of wealth. It's the nature of making too much money. It's not the nature of brokenness. Brokenness is not your nature. It's not your DNA. It's not your DNA. Borrowing is not your DNA. Trekking is not in your DNA. That's why you see things like hatred. It's not in my nature. Hatred is not in my DNA. Rejection is not in my DNA. Malice is not in my DNA. Envy is not in my DNA. Where do people get envy from? Is it not from Satan? When you see a man who is successful, it's of you to go and thank God. Father, thank you for what you are doing with this man. Oh, I believe I'm the next in line. You go and get AK-47 to kill him. I get so scared of what is going on in the East. Somebody dies and people are rejoicing over it. People wish their fellow men dead. Can you imagine? It's the nature of the devil. The nature of God is love. The nature of God is compassion. The nature of God is joy. The nature of God is peace. Anytime you see yourself in worry, you've just collected Satan's nature. Anytime you see yourself in malice, you've collected Satan's nature. You may be in church, but you are Satan in church. Anytime you see yourself in doubt, in fear, in depression, in rejection, this is the nature. Satan has a defeated concept and mindset about himself. He doesn't believe anything good can come out of him. That's why he goes about oppressing people. Anybody who you see with the right image, he wants people to go up. He wants people to come up. He wants people to succeed. He wants to empower everybody. He knows the thing. He wants to share it with people. That's why you can't win soul until you know this thing. You can't reach people with the gospel of Jesus until you are free from this stuff. Why do I preach? Why do I go for witnesses? Because I know Jesus died for me. I didn't merit this thing. So why should I keep it to myself? Why should I be talking of going to heaven where others are going to hell? It's your nature. It's your nature. Your nature. Your image is your nature. Love is your nature. Compassion is your nature. The list is endless. Mercy is your nature. Rebellion should not be your nature. It's the nature of Satan. Satan is the greatest, is the chief rebel. You can't be fighting authority and be saying you are in order. That's the nature. The nature of God does not fight authority. It does not. I don't care how many scripture you quote. You quote from Genesis to Revelation and back up your claims or whatever. You are out of order and God is going to fire you for doing that. You're out of order if you confront authority. We do it so much in the East here. You have just given Satan charge over you. The next thing, the sixth before the last. Image means security. It means complex. That's what you call your internal, your fence. It's like your fence. That thing that gives you security is like that thing that makes you secured. Is your image. Your security is hidden in your image. You don't feel intimidated by people. You know, one of the biggest problems of a lot of young people today is the problem of insecurity. What you call inferiority complex. And maybe in the service on Sunday, I will show you the things that can distort your image. There are factors that can damage image. Now I'll show you how to reconstruct your image. The people who you can be rebuking them for something they do wrong, and instead of them to see love behind the rebuke, they see hatred. Is security problem, is complex. There are others who can't stand where other people stand. There are other people who think this guy is better than me. I'm not better off. This guy is better. They think they can't compete. These are the class of people who think that some people are lucky while others are unlucky. Insecure people see strength and they are threatened. They see a man who is gifted. Instead of them to praise God for him, they are threatened by that thing. It's too much in Eastern Nigeria. That's why people poison people. It's insecurity. Insecurity is the seat of envy. It's the seat of jealousy. It's the seat of malice, backbiting. You can't hear me gossiping somebody. Oh, that guy is doing well. Glory to God. It's a proof I can do better. You can't see me doing that. Insecurity is the reason people try to impress. They want to do also so people can see them. Insecurity, most of the makeups you see ladies wear is insecurity they are trying to hide. Oh, she wore a high heel to church. I'll go and steal to get it. I must sleep with that brother to get it. So they just meet one banker in town and the guy just, is he going my way? He said, not only your way, I'm going your road. Why? Because, so Nkechi thinks she can wear that designer's high heel to church. I will show her too. Is it security? Is it security? A secured man is contented where he is, but pressing forward to a better place. He is contented. He's not in any competition. People who are not complete compete. Insecurity is trying to make up for something you don't have. Your image comes with security. It's in Christ. It comes with confidence. It's your confidence. So people who are trying to meet up, she wore Brazilian hair. Okay. So that we can, I know. I'll go and get it too. No. If that's your motive for getting what you're looking for, you are insecure. You see a guy who preaches nice, admire the guy. You can also do it if you go and pay the price. You see a guy who is beautiful, admire. Most ladies who are having problems in their marriage or who are having problems in their relationship, it's an insecurity problem. There are some people who look at, that's why you see suicide was high in America at one time. A child just wakes up, goes to the mirror, looks at himself, and find out that she's rounded or he's rounded. And now goes and look and finds out she has flat bum bum. That's what the devil use, distorts their image and tell them, can't you see? You have flat bum bum, lady. You are not a woman, you are a man. It's just a mistake God made. What are you looking for in men? You are like them. So go and get your fellow girl that has a bum bum and start sleeping with her. Lesbianism. This is insecurity, that thing happens. You know when he comes and tell him, he said, can't you see? When you talk, they say you talk like a girl. Your voice sounds like a woman's voice. When you wave people, you wave like a girl. Can't you see? That you are not a man. You are actually a woman, but you just have a man's package. You have the components of it. You are a woman, actually. So what are you deceiving yourself for? Get a guy who can make you feel like the woman you really are. And you see gay. You see the way they are fighting for the team. Gay rights, gay rights, gay rights. Is insecurity. They are not secure with the way they are. Do you know what Nick defeated to be who he is? Insecurity. Without arms and limbs, without legs, yet he's ruling the world. The man defeated the sickness inside the soul. It's not how you look outside. It's what you are inside. It's what you are inside. Oh. You need to know this. How can a guy of that stature, he's married, he has a good life, flying the best airlines, he has a good house, has good cars. How is he able to rise above that? He rose above it in his mind. Stop judging yourself the way you are. If you are fat, thank God for it. It's for a reason. If you are slim, thank God for it. It's for a reason. Some of you, nobody has talked to you, but you just appear. The thing in your mind is like everybody is talking to you. Everybody is insulting you. That's what hindered the children of Israel from taking Canaan. It was insecurity. So they entered there to go and spy. A land God already told you has been given to you. It flows with milk and honey. It's yours. It's for your possession. Instead of you to come back and thank God and say, oh, we are taking this land though. They went there and they say, Moses, 10 people talking. Oh. We can't enter that place. Indeed, the land flows with milk and honey. But it's a no-go-away area. We got there and we saw the giants, the sons of Anakins. We saw the children of the Jebusites, the Hittites. We saw all of them. You need to see these guys' height. These guys are so tall. If you see their Moses, I'm scared. Do you know one of their lap look like you, all of you like this? It's one of their lap. Oh. I don't know when you want to go and do that kind of thing. This is suicide attempt. Don't talk about this stuff again. Moses, let's get back to Egypt. Even if it means trekking around 40 years, no problem. We can't enter that place. Oh. I'm not going there. Do you know, as we were looking at them, I found out that we were so small in their eyes. And we're also very small in our own eyes. They go to a city to go and look at the place. No giants came to them to tell them they look small. They just look at the giant and interpreted what the giant was not saying. Interpreted something the giant is not saying. Say, we look so small in their eyes, and so were we in our own eyes. Did he tell you that? Why are you saying it? Don't publish a news that God has not given. Don't publish something that even your enemies are not saying. Publish what God's word says about you. The devil can't do anything in your life until you sign it with your mouth. The devil can come to your house with a paper, the document. He says, "Oh yeah, sign your failure. Sign your defeat. Sign, or yeah, sign it." When you open your mouth and talk, you have signed. "I'm a failure." Thank you, sir. You just signed. And he takes you to God. God, say you say by the words of our mouth we are justified. See what your son said. He said, this is signature now. And God will sit in heaven. Well, you have to kill that thing. Some of you, what is holding you from breaking forth is this stuff. It's insecurity. Inferiority complex. It may be because of the kind of family you are born into. Your father does not have a car. So you grew up going to school and you saw your your classmates' fathers bringing them a Rolls Royce. And they brought you in keke. And he programmed you. On Sunday I will show you deeper truth about this. I'll show you where people get insecurity from and how to flush it out of your life. If you don't get free inside, you will exercise freedom outside. Insecurity, complex. You need to reconstruct it. When a girl discovers the woman in her, she carries herself without extent. When a boy discovers the man in him, he carries himself without extent. Paul told Timothy, "Let no man despise your youth." He was talking to him about securing what makes him who he is. Be secure, be secure. You don't appear before those guys you think they are big and better preachers and be feeling insecure. No, when you come before them, there's something in you should make you comfortable. Be comfortable. When you see strength, be comfortable. When you see somebody who has something you don't have, be comfortable. Because there's something you have that person doesn't have. Let that thing you have be your security. Can you see a goalkeeper who is keeping in a football match, Arsenal versus Chelsea, and is angry that he does not play the ball? He's just staying one place. Then he's angry because Mikel Obi is the midfielder. He's always with the ball. He's angry because, what is his name? Ronaldo. He's always the one at the scoring wing. You see what a secure goalkeeper does? When Ronaldo scores, he's jumping. God! He's secured. Ronaldo, that's your job. My job is to make sure no ball enters this net. Am I talking to the right people? That's security. So when you know your ability, of course, your greatest security is in your identity and your ability. When you know who you are and know what you have, nothing can keep you down. Nothing dampens your image. You know this is who I am, and this is what I have. This is what I can do. Nobody can compete with me here. I don't go about envying a preacher because he preached a good message. There's an area where I'm an authority. You can't preach it like me. When I touch that area, you know this guy doesn't need diary and Bible. He's an authority here. Find that thing that makes you who you are. And be secured in it. You are beautiful. Maybe you don't know. Every one of you here, you are beautiful. Imagine all of us look like Chinese. You know the problem of being a Chinese? You all look the same. I once saw a picture a few days ago. It was a picture of eggs. All looking brown. Only one egg was looking white amongst them. And the guy who posted it wrote on it. He said, "They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they are all the same. Find that thing that makes you different. That's what will give you the power to make the difference. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That thing that makes you different is what will make you make your difference. Make a difference in your world. That's what gives you the edge. Find it. Find it. If it's your height, be secure with it. You may be brief. Aki and Popo have made money from their own problem. From what you call disadvantage. These guys are making millions. I was watching I Go Die today. On YouTube. The thing just popped up. And I kept laughing. I said, look at this guy's ugliness. Is enough comedy. The guy's worrisome is enough comedy. If you bring on that Niger Laugh Fest or whatever to come and talk comedy, people will start sleeping. There's a person you look at Bovie. You want to, if Bovie has it, I don't like the way my head is. I don't like the way my face looks. I don't like the way I talk. I should have been sounding like Ramsey Noah. Everything is created with nutrient. Supply what you are gifted to supply. Let the other one supply what it is gifted to supply. It's just like this speaker. This speaker cannot be telling me I'm all in all. If the microphone decides to be insecure, it cannot do its own job. The microphone cannot, oh come on. No matter how big the speaker is, can I talk with the speaker without the mic? Not if I take it away. So why is the microphone insecure? It is small. It doesn't look as big as the speaker. But look at, he's doing his job and the speaker is responding. Find what makes you powerful. Build your esteem around it. If your teeth doesn't look organized, don't worry. One day you will find out the purpose. One day. You are short. One day you find out that God allowed you that way for a reason. Can you see how being tall has made Michael Jordan a rich basketballer? Being tall. You'll find out soon. You'll find out soon. Imagine Miss Tibu went around complaining. Why did God not make me fine? Why am I not handsome? But can you see? I was in the airport one time to fly to Lagos. Miss Tibu walked in from nowhere. Pot belly. If you see the chain on his neck, what he was wearing, and the jeans, and bathroom slippers to fly to Lagos. This was how he came in, with pregnancy. Me, gentleman, with my bag, my shuttle bag, claiming first class flight or whatever. The guy just came in from nowhere, mumutiously. Now which bed they carry us come out here? Which bed we want enter? Now which one? Now which one? The thing don't work out. You don't go. No, I can't make it come now. I can't even do. He was just talking. The whole airport, both the people giving tickets, everybody thought, Ibu. He said, hey. He said, what? You don't go? For what? For what? You know the way he behaves. He said, they're doing those his funny things inside airport. If you see the hold up, people trooping me to come and see Ibu. I looked at myself. For the first time, I wish to be Ibu. But imagine me. I come into that airport and start, I want to copy Ibu. They'll say, please, bundle that madman. Put him in one of the hillocks and take him out of here. Ibu's foolishness gives him security. It gives him even money. Me, I can't go and do that. I know my area. I'm a diplomat. So what do? Ibu has built his esteem in his foolishness. Let me go and build my own in my wisdom. Let me build. So when I'm coming to an airport, as I enter, people know is that diplomat who the president talked about last time in the White House that is coming to come and teach our nation how to build a vibrant economic system. Is that guy? That's the guy he showed us on the screen. So when I come in as a diplomat and everybody's staring at me, it's my own field. And finally, entertainment. Your image is your hope life. That's where your hope is. That's where your hope is. Hope of both the present life and hope of eternity. Okay? We'll close it here. These are 7 things image means. Hope life. There are things that are bad now, doesn't mean it won't get better. It's your image. Your image actually. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. Let's pray. Just stand.
For the continuation of this message, please play the next track.